So as many of you probably know, a few months ago I did a review on Super Mario 64 The Last Impact. Wait, sorry, no, not The Last Impact, just Last Impact. Anyhow, there were a few criticisms on the video that I felt needed to be addressed. I don't normally revisit games that I've already reviewed, but I figured it probably wouldn't hurt. After all, this is still high in the running for the best Mario 64 hack anyway. Before I get back into the actual game though, there are some things that I'd like to clear up. As I mentioned earlier, no, it's not The Last Impact, it's just Last Impact. If you watched the original video, I said The Last Impact a million times, and a million times I was wrong, so oops. Also, it's been brought to my attention that K's Amanwar isn't actually pronounced that way. Apparently it's pronounced Kazay Amanur. Yeah, I'm not much of a linguist. Finally, I suggested in the original video that there hasn't been a good Kirby game in a long time, which is wrong because apparently they put one on the 3DS in April. And now we're good to go. Now just to recap what I said about the game originally, I said basically that it was the best Mario 64 hack I'd ever seen, and is basically good enough to be an official Nintendo game. In short, I'd actually be willing to pay money for it, which is more than can be said for a lot of official Nintendo games as of the last few years. I basically said the graphics were great and thematically spot on, the music was brilliant and fit very well, and the actual game is entirely fun. I mean, I may not have used those exact words, but I'm pretty sure I said something to the effect of that. But now let's get down to the main point about this video, which are the things that I missed. Now I should probably mention that I literally did zero research for that video. All that happened was that someone mentioned the game in the comments section and I immediately downloaded it and recorded a few hours of footage. First of all, it was brought to my attention that the game has original compositions. I didn't mention this in the original video because I honestly didn't know, but now that I do, it's really worth mentioning. It's one thing to make cool remixes of familiar tunes, but to create an original song is on a whole different level. While only a few levels actually have original music, they all sound great. But my favorite is this one. I said earlier that I didn't mention the original compositions because I didn't know they were original. And that's because they sound so nice and professional that I assumed they were all derived from games that I didn't know about. Another criticism I received was that I didn't mention power-ups. Although I did mention the Cloud one, it was probably not the best example. Probably a better one would be the Fire Flower. That's right, a Mario power-up as old as time itself. Another great power-up would be the Paper Mushroom, for lack of a better term. Effectively what this does is make Mario paper thin. Now this is easily my favorite power-up because it reminds me of the Paper Mario series, which I fucking love by the way. Well, for the most part. There's also a Bumblebee suit that lets you fly, just like in Mario Galaxy. Which reminds me, I have a confession to make, guys. I know you probably just want me to get on with the review, but I gotta get this off my chest. I'm not really a huge fan of Mario Galaxy. Now, for those of you who are wondering why I feel that way, well, that's for another video. So if it's bothering you, I'd like to remind you that it's not really a big deal. Just because I don't like something you do doesn't make you wrong for liking it. It makes me wrong for not liking it. Right? There's also a frog suit that gives you the uncanny ability to swim fast. When you take into account that you can turn into Paper Mario in this game, Frog Mario seems like a bit of a step backwards, wouldn't you say? There are other power-ups as well, but to tell you everything would be unprofessional. Not that I consider myself professional, but I try, you know? Now, in the original review, I didn't really show anything past the 8th or 9th level, you know, somewhere in that range. But apparently, the later levels are even better. How much better? Well, they got a casino, so 10 out of 10. The casino even comes complete with a gigantic pinball machine. Just like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and Sonic the Hedgehog 4, and Sonic Adventure DX, and Sonic Heroes, and Sonic... I could go on and on about this game, but I don't want to overanalyze it any further. It's still entirely possible I missed something that I shouldn't have, but I feel that I've covered most of the important things. Well, there's one last thing. Apparently you can use the D-pad to work the camera, It doesn't work super well, but it's a welcome measure to help the player control the camera rather than vice versa. Anyway, I've talked more about this hack than any of the others, and even if I missed some things, talking more about how awesome this game is would probably be gratuitous at this point. Hell, I might have already gotten to that point just by making this video. Anyway, bottom line, it's the best Mario 64 hack out there. Play the shit out of it pronto.